Hey y'all, Joe here with J-Tech. All right, tonight we're talking about rear ends or rear differentials, whatever you want to call it. So this particular rear end is a semi-floating rear end. That means the weight of the vehicles is put on the axle. There's a bearing right inside of this cup, and that holds the weight of the vehicle plus the rotational torsion force of the drive axles. All right. So I'm gonna pull this cover off right here.
Get some basic knowledge.
So this is your gear chunk or your carrier. This is a open differential. So you can see down inside of this, that shows you right there that it's open. So to remove your axles, you'll have to pull this bolt right here. That allows that pin to come out. And what the pin does is it keeps your axles from pushing in. So, because there's a C-clip in there. And that's what holds your axle in. So then we can pull the axle out. And if you're just pulling this apart to pull your carrier out, you don't have to take your axles all the way out. But if you're replacing this seal in the bearing in here, then you could pull your axle all the way out. So now we're gonna do this side. All right, so with that done, you remove those bolts, and these are your carrier bearing caps. So here's your carrier bearings and the shims. So, all right, so now that I got my axles out, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this pin back in here. And that's gonna keep everything, and just put a couple threads in there. That's gonna keep your spider gears from flying out. All right. So now we're just gonna pull this out. All right, so here's our carrier. We're gonna sit this over here on the table. All right. I'm gonna keep all these shims where they go, which side they go on. So, 'cause that's what determines where your gear sets. Okay, so if you come back over here, this is your pinion gear. So your drive shaft comes out of your transmission. Your drive shaft comes into a companion shaft that would normally be bolted on here. And then that spins this, and that spins this ring gear, which in return spins your axles. So this is how it splits it from straight to a 90 through this pinion gear and that ring gear. And that's what drives your axles in your wheels. So for this particular rear end, this came out of a Chevy Blazer. Gear oil would be like 7590, 75 W90. Your maintenance schedule, you'd want to check this like every 30,000 miles, once a year. or if you go through a bunch of water or something like that, then you might want to check it just to make sure you don't have water. If you got one of these seals that's leaking, it'll let water in here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna stick this thing back together real quick. Slider shims down in there. All right, so then you just put your caps back on there, you torque it to spec, slide your axles back in, put your C-clips back in. You'd have to remove this pin, you know, again, in order to get your C-clips back in there. So that's pretty much it. So if you're working on an open diff rear end, I hope that helped you out. Have a good one.